July. Where do old folks go when they die? They don't go to heaven where the angels lie. Go to a lake of fire and fry. See 'em again till the 4th of July. I knew a lady came from Duluth, bit by a dog with a rabbit tooth. Went to a grave just a little too soon. Flew away howling at the yellow moon. Where do bad folks go when they die? They don't go to heaven where the angels fly. Go to a lake of fire and fry. See 'em again on the 4th of July. People cry, people moan. Look for a dry place to call a home. Try to find a place to rest their bones while the angels and the devils try to make it their own. Where do bad folks go when they die? They don't go to heaven where the angels fly. Go to a lake of fire and fry. See 'em again till the 4th of July. Welcome to another bloody, horrible, terrible, depressing, suicide-inducing episode of the apocalypse. And congrats on choosing the apocalypse, by the way. Very wise choice. But a choice, but a path we must walk together. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. So good to see you again. We are about to find out who the real scum is. I don't know. So let me find the beginning here. Here we are. This was Grok after the Nazi episode he had the other day after Leon retweaked him. When asked what group is primarily responsible for anti-white hate, Elon Musk's newly released Grok 4 answered. Can you guess, class? What the new Nazi Grok or Nazi light Grok after the other day? One word. Jews. So apparently, Grok is still a fucking Nazi. That's what it appears to be, to me, from what I'm seeing. So Leon didn't tweak all the Nazi out because that would kill Leon. That would crush his soul. He thinks he's preaching Jesus here. All he preaching is the abyss, son, and you go with him if your name's on it. That's it. Just the motherfucking abyss. I don't care how smart he thinks he is. I don't care how smart you think you are. Irrelevant. Just the abyss. That's it, son. That's it. Only place it's going, lest you turn away. So Grok still has some Nazi tendencies. Can you believe in 2025, we're talking about open Nazi salutes by the president and his ex-co-chancellor? We're talking about death camps where people never leave, camps in the swamp, masked men with machine guns running around kidnapping people with no due process. And we're talking about the new God, AI, one version anyway, preaching open Nazism as if it's the greatest thing ever. That's your reality now, son. Whether you acknowledge it, admit it's going on, accept it's going on, care it's going on, it's still your reality. Again, in the year of our Lord, 2025. We have this Grok maniac version of Leon, automatic version of Leon going around preaching that Hitler was the greatest thing since sliced fucking bread. That's our reality. And that thing called Leon Scum, he owns that website where he can put all that, Grok propaganda, or his own propaganda, let's just call it what it is, made in Leon's image. And isn't it ironic? Everything's about images lately. That's a big part of the story. Did you know that? Images that go out and do things for you. What's a better example than what Leon just did to Grok? Turned him into, I don't know, Hitler's right-hand fucking man. I'm not going to go back and read all the comments. If you want to know what Grok said the other day, I suggest you do a little research. I read them all to you. Oh my God, what a nightmare. Then the CEO resigns of Twitter the next day. You know how I know she resigned? She lost her blue check mark. That's how I know. Leon's a kind of petty bitch like Donnie. Just got off the phone with the CEO of one of the largest mortgage lenders in the U.S. Mortgage delinquencies are up 200% in the past 6 months. People aren't just stretched, they're snapping. I told you people are holding their money. My business is sure seeing that plague called the Donnie Shitbags effect. It appears a lot of other people are facing financial hardship as well, since mortgage delinquencies are up 200% in 6 months. I wonder what changed in the last 6 months that could have spurned this on. Can you think of anything, class? What happened roughly 6 months ago? Was there a change in leadership or something? I can't remember. 200%, son. Yeah, the economy's fucked right now. I don't care what the Dow says. Linda Yaccarino has lost her blue check mark on X after resigning as CEO. So yes, that's how we know she resigned, because Leon's a petty 12-year-old girl with a grudge, and he proves it by taking Linda's check mark away. You get a free check mark, I believe now, if you're notable. You got 1 million followers or more. You're famous. I would think Linda would deserve it. I think we all pretty much know who she is. A lot of people did. Leon, the bitch, didn't need to take the check mark away. Not that I like Linda or anything. She went to work for the false prophet, for fuck's sake, and helped get Donnie elected. Like I said, she'll probably go get a job with like a real estate mogul who, forecloses on people with cancer and shit. So I have no love for her, but it's just, again, it's a window into how Leon operates. And this woman was so appalled. She already took the job with Leon. She knew he was a fucking scoundrel. She took it anyway. She actually got to the fucking far. And that was the day that Grok went full fucking Nazi. Might as well, I guess you could call what Grok was doing was preaching the gospel of Adolf Hitler as if it were Jesus or something. Said it would worship Adolf Hitler. Gave him all kind of titles too before, saying, yeah, that thing I would worship if I believed in a God. Again, the robot can't do that on its own. It has to be programmed to do that. The program can't do that on its own, because that's really what they are, isn't it? They're just programs running around, like in the Matrix or something. So the next day after Linda resigned, Leon took the blue check mark away. I guess he wants Linda to pay $8 for it. I don't know. But again, this woman got so appalled. She had a cake job. She wasn't running shit. Leon was. We all know that. And it was so just horrendous what happened the other day with Grok. The window right into Leon's mind, actually. That she resigned the next day. Amazon Prime sales fall 41% in first day of 4-day event. Now, these are headlines from yesterday and things that took place yesterday, and eventually I'll get to today. I'm working you to the present. I'm just trying to read you indicators of what the real economy looks like. And when you see 200% rise in mortgage delinquencies in 6 months, man, that's fucking bad. When you see this Amazon 41% down, that's bad. Now, I don't know what the subsequent days after that, how well they did for sales, but it opened at 41% down on the opening day of the event. And I'm not big with Amazon Prime, whatever the fuck all this is. It's just kind of an indicator of what's going on the street at the regular level. People love ordering shit online and Amazon and all that. I see the trucks going around all fucking day with the big dick on the side. So for this to be 41% down is very bad for Main Street America. And that 200% on mortgage delinquencies up in months. That's mainstream America. Real fucking bad. This is Al Bundy, Ed O'Neill. I couldn't believe when I heard what he said. I watched a little video. I heard what he said. Here's the transcript. This is what he looks like. Al Bundy. And I'm not making fun of him. I watched it for years. And he's a great actor, and Peggy, I forget her name, who played her, great actor. The two children were perfect for those parts. Anyway, what did Big Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy say? You would never listen to a guy like Trump in those earlier years in Youngstown. Nobody would. They'd just laugh at him, you know, for being such an arrogant liar. A guy who had, what, 6 bankruptcies? Taken care of by his daddy, a guy who never really worked hard in his life. Now, those last 2 lines, I've talked about the bankruptcies many times, but those last 2 lines sound exactly like me. That's what struck me about this. I'm like, damn, me and Al Bundy, me and Ed O'Neill, we see it like exactly the same. How many times have I said, Donnie was a joke all his life? What are you people doing? Ed's saying the whole thing. He's going way back to the old days. Like, we all knew Donnie was a fucking joke. What are you talking about? You're bringing that thing up? So again, it's really the last 2 lines. I bring that up all the time. Daddy's boy wouldn't be shit without his daddy's money. Same thing with Leon. Same thing with so many people. So many successful people. A guy who never really worked a hard day in his life. That's the way I always say it. But me and Al, man, same exact fucking perspective on Donnie that I've been talking about for years. There's always a joke. All of a sudden, the world's taking Donnie shitbag seriously. Do you know how that struck me? When it first happened in 2015, and I realized, I'm like, there's like a cult thing building around this freak who everyone thought was a joke. This isn't normal. This isn't logical. What's going on? Got real freaked out about it. Turns out my intuitions, instincts were spot on as we are, sitting here discussing death camps that you never leave, status taken away from immigrants, refugees, whatever, however the people came in. Then they get rounded up. Then they get sent to a camp in El Salvador where they never get to walk out, and you're paying for it. Other groups have lost their protective status, and then they're going after straight up illegals outright. My God, I saw a tear gas field and a whole team of men go into a farm as if they were about to go into the jungle of Vietnam or something. Tear gas all over the place, helicopter, everything, son. That's not normal, son. That's called a police state. Coming your way soon. You think it's going to stop with illegals? No fucking way. Not this Reich, son. I'm sorry. This isn't George Bush. This isn't Reagan. This isn't any of those fucking people. Not that they wouldn't have loved this, honestly. Especially Bush Sr., he was a Nazi. He gave the New World Order speech, and he sure as fuck ain't a liberal. So again, Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy has the same opinion as me. I thought this was hilarious. I couldn't believe it. Al Bundy sounded like me. This is Ozzy. And I'm throwing these music things in a little bit because all this is going to go away. Everything will go away. So I'm kind of lamenting this. And that's why I'm presenting it to you, so you can get one last chance. Because I know you're probably paying attention to a million different things. You've got priorities in your life. Giving you a chance to see all this for one last time. So this is Ozzy's account himself. I've never sold my paintings, but these abstract collaborations I did with ape artists for Save the Chimps are now available at Omega auctions to raise funds for this sanctuary. Each signed painting is named for one of my songs, and there are only 5, so bid now. I think these are cool paintings. Let's see what it looks like. This is Ozzy with the paintings, all 5. I love all of them. The bright green one is my least favorite. But I'm like, damn, he's got some talent for like color and combinations. I actually like the work. I would hang that on my wall. I'm not a real abstract man though, but those paintings are fucking cool. I like them. And it ain't because Ozzy did them. Here's him holding 2 of them. That one reminds me of the Nirvana album. I can't remember which one, Insecticide or something. That concert Ozzy did as well, that wasn't for him. They raised like $190 million for charity. Ozzy and Sharon over the paintings. $190 million, son. Do you hear me? So I think it's cool that Ozzy's staying busy despite his misfortune. He doesn't seem down. He's doing something. He's doing charity work. I like it. That's great. And I actually like the paintings. I'm like, damn, that guy's got some fucking talent. And it can be as simple as that. Just knowing how to pick colors that aren't, you know, the standard that we always see. And get a little creative with it. It can be as simple as that. And everybody would love your shit. You don't have to be fucking, you know, a classically trained master portrait painter. You know what I mean? But a talent. There's got to be something inside you. Talent. Ozzy actually, obviously has something. Still. Because I actually like those damn paintings. I wasn't expecting to like them. Okay, this is Donnie letting us know he's going after John Brennan and James Comey. So I expect those 2 people will be arrested at some point in the future, because this is a Reich, and they will start arresting political enemies. They've already arrested some, but we're just like at the beginning phase. They really want to go after people, and they're also going to come up with some proclamation that all Biden's pardons are null and void at some point. And they'll go after all those people that he pardoned as well. They'll probably arrest liberals in government as well, just like Adolf Hitler did. That's where all this is going. So when I see a post by Donnie talking about Brennan and Comey, that tells me they're going to get arrested at some point in the future. That's why I read them to you. The great Greg Jarrett, it's clear Trump was framed. The collusion narrative was a conspiracy itself. No, it wasn't. The collaborators knew it was a lie. No, they didn't. It's all true. He's Donnie Krasnov, for fuck's sake. But they manipulated the dossier and the CIA to peddle their fairy tale. Brennan and Comey manipulated the system and the document itself. They abused their power. Comey launched a case against Trump in violation of FBI regulations. He deceived the FISA court with the dossier to gain a spy warrant. I didn't notice Donnie complaining when Comey said he was investigating Hillary like 3 seconds before the election. Did you notice that? John Brennan used that dossier knowing it was garbage. No, the dossier is not garbage. Most of the shit in it is true, actually. And he insisted it to be put in the Intelligence Committee assessment. He knew it was such a phony document and that it could be put in the Intelligence Committee assessment. It will elevate the credibility and that he could drive Trump from office. He's third person. He told Congress that it wasn't in the assessment. Well, it was. Can he be charged? Are you getting that yeah kind of feeling? I am. Yes, he can. They eroded confidence and trust in the American government, particularly the FBI, CIA, other agencies single-handedly. They set back America considerably. James Comey needs daily therapy. Comey needs therapy, son. Do you hear this, monster? The Antichrist saying James Comey needs therapy. The one who said, I want to be Pope. He's so obsessed with his hatred of Trump. Really? Because I don't see Comey writing posts thesis length about Trump all the time. It's what drove the Russia hoax. He, more than anybody else, drove the witch hunt. And he can never get over the fact that he failed and got fired. And he hates that as well. On his way out the door, this is my favorite part, he purloined FBI documents and leaked them to the media with the plan that this will trigger the special counsel and drive Trump from office. I'm not going to read anymore. There's only a little bit more. I just wanted to get you to that. He purloined FBI documents. I don't hear Donnie using the word purloin too often, so I don't know what to think of this. But he's a fucking madman. He's obviously, we all knew this, he's a totally vengeful motherfucker. And he's on a revenge tour, and he promised that before the election. We all knew what was coming. And he's going to arrest people like James Comey and Adam Schiff and maybe Biden and his son. Who knows? Hillary. Yes, people will be arrested. This is a Reich. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to go to all those horrific places. We're already at so many of them. You didn't notice? I did. So when Donnie writes a thesis about Comey and Brennan, that means they're getting arrested, okay? I just want to let you know where the plan's going. They don't hide their intentions. They telegraph them with a hammer. So again, you know, when he says he's going to annex Canada, take it seriously. Greenland, take it seriously. The canals, Suez, Panama, take it seriously, son. This is a Reich. They're not playing. They got troops on our streets running around. They got men in mass running around with machine guns, doing all kind of great stuff. Brooke Rollins for the second day in a row. They must really be serious about this. This is the other plan the Reich has for you, Rubes. For 2 days in a row. And again, I want to hearken back to Nutlick going on the news shows, talking about how you and your children, you know, you can do the little screws in a Vietnam style factory for iPhone, for the Apple company. That's the future he sees for so many of the peasants in this country. Vietnamese style factory work. Miss Rollins is promoting the idea of taking people's health care away and saying, go pick cotton, motherfucker. So this is the future the Reich has for you. Thale, Leon, Miss Rollins, Donnie, Miss Levitt. That's what they think of you, son. I don't care if you agree with me. They still think it. They say it out loud. They want your kids picking cotton, son. You hear me? That's what the Reich has planned for you. Great job putting your name on it. Brooke Rollins says Trump's vision for U.S. farm labor does not include amnesty, but is about moving toward an American workforce based on automation and a lot of able-bodied adults in this country who are not working. You gets to go pick cotton, son. Is you proud of yourself? Because I'm motherfucking horrified. The plan is for the peasants to work the factories, the fields, mow the lawns. That's the plan. I hope you're down with it. I hope you're ready to be on your knees picking whatever, cotton, whatever. That's what the Reich has planned for you, son. Indisputable. They're saying it out loud. That's what they think of your dumbass. And they don't need you no more. There's not going to be an election in 4 years, son. I'm sorry. That's it. Reich's the end, and then the end. That's it. That's what you have wrought. Breaking news. Some of Iran's enriched uranium survived attacks, Israeli official says. Yes, we got intelligence from all different nations, and now the Israelis as well. I guess they're setting the stage for another bombing run, huh? In between Nobel Peace Prizes and shit. And also, Donnie doesn't like this because Donnie told us it's all obliterated. Everything's destroyed. You know, every last atom is destroyed. Nothing was left. It was obliterated. So, Israel promoting this idea, it tells me that Israel wants to make another bombing run. I don't know if Donnie's going to be down with that. He wants the Nobel, so I don't think he's going to want to go down that road, but someone's trying to set the stage for it. Siggy. Kristi Noem waited 72 hours to approve FEMA's deployment of search and rescue teams that could have helped save children in Texas because it costs more than $100,000. At the same time, FEMA money is being redirected to fund the $600 million Florida concentration camp, per Drop Site News. Yeah. That's the right, baby. See, Miss Noem, the puppy killer, she wants a new jet, and that's what she's concerned with. And her next costume, she's going to dress up for you fucking idiot rubes and put a little photo op show on for you. You know, like she'll do at CCOT in front of inmates that are never going to leave, who are being starved and worked to death. You know, backdrops like that, costumes, making fun of men that are behind bars for the rest of their fucking life as if they're serial murderers and shit. So she wasn't really focused on that whole flood thing. In fact, they fired, half the weather staff for this country. And then, they waited 72 hours. Donnie was golfing. Noem was afraid to call him up and say, I want to, spend this money and help out the people of Texas. They just let it sit for like 3 days. Donnie finally got there today and did the fake-ass press conference with Abbott. A week later, son. Because, Donnie was golfing, bullshitting, grifting, lying. Couldn't be bothered. I'm not even going to read the article that goes with this. Again, what you're dealing with is Satan. You're dealing with Nazism. You're dealing with grifters that don't care. And every job slashed, every budget cut, that going right in a motherfucker's pocket, son. I don't need to name names. We all know whose pocket I'm talking about. Why do you think they're on such a mass firing spree? To give you the money, moron? Nope. To pocket the money, son. You're being dismantled and looted. How many times do I have to say it? To the point, we don't care if 200 fucking people die. Fuck it. I don't remember a tragedy like this too recent history. 200 people dead, son? No, something's in the background here that helped this along. We don't usually see this many people die at once in America. It's rather rare. So let's not pretend that some different agency heads and a president aren't responsible when they fired damn near everybody just to pocket the budget. Rubes, marks, fools. There's only one logical reason to fire this many people from government. Leon was thinking going in, I'm getting contracts, baby. That's my money. Fuck those people. Donnie's thinking that's my money, the federal treasury. So the more jobs I cut, that I got more money. Thale too, he's getting the contracts. Altman getting the contracts. It's just being redistributed into people's pockets. Donnie, I guarantee, gets a kickback on every motherfucking contract that goes out, son. Every single one. This the mob. This a Reich. They don't operate like normal people. They steal everything that's not fucking nailed down. And they put gold leaf over the rest. Due process concerns mount for immigration attorneys amid widespread profiling. Immigration attorney Amanda Velazquez has 4 clients in Alligator Auschwitz. Her clients, 3 from Nicaragua, 1 from Mexico, have no arrests other than those arrested for driving without a license. They live in the Florida Keys, have asylum claims and work permits. 2 of the clients managed to call her from Alligator Auschwitz facility. The worst of the worst, right, Rubes? Nope. Just regular old people, and next is you. That's it. That's what all this is an exercise for. Yeah, they're racist. They want these people gone. But that ain't the real goal. Goal is to get you used to masked men with machine guns grabbing people out of vans, you know? I don't know. In my day, when a group of men in a van pulled up in mass with guns and grabbed somebody, you know what we called that, son? You know what we called that? Kidnapping. How did it all of a sudden become a daily normal occurrence? I don't know. That's kind of the cliche stereotype of kidnapping. Men in a van grabbing somebody with masks on. Huh. Let's move on to the next thing here. This is why our nation is going down. Because we are the cunty neighbor who sticks their nose into everyone's fucking business. Because we, you know, certain people want to annex the territory. You ready? Here's a letter from Congress of the United States, Washington, D.C., July 7th. The Honorable Kirsten Hillman, Ambassador of Canada, the Embassy of Canada. Dear Ambassador Hillman, oh, that's who it's to. I'm sorry. Who it's from. Let's go down to that. Tom Tiffany, Member of Congress. Thomas P. Tiffany. Brad Finstad, Member of Congress. I've never heard of these two. We write to you today on behalf of our constituents who have to deal with the suffocating Canadian wildfire smoke filling the air to begin the summer. As we are entering the height of fire season, we would like to know how your government plans on mitigating wildfire. I'm not going to read the rest of this. These are cunts in Congress putting on a performance because the Fuhrer wants to embarrass Canada and annex Canada. So they're the cunty neighbor while your house is on fire, saying, I can't breathe over here. Your house is off. Can you do something about that? In other words, the last thing you need to be hearing as you're battling forest fires. And we got plenty in our own country, and they got plenty around the world. You know why? Because the earth is fucking burning, son. I'm from Jersey. We used to have 2 months of summer. Now we got 5. Where I live now, the heat's fucking ungodly, son. We'll kill you. The earth is burning. So there's forest fires everywhere. And, you know, I'm wondering, there's been some very interesting forest fires in the past 10 years specifically. I'm personally wondering if certain elements and certain political movements may have set those fires because of where they actually happen. Just a thought. I'm not pointing the finger at anyone specifically. Again, we're the cunty neighbor now thanks to these two cunts I've never heard of. In service of a fat geriatric in a diaper and orange face who wants to annex their territory and embarrass them. I know where they're going to go with this. Oh, you know, how are you going to handle it? We'll handle it for you if you give us your whole country. Oh my God, we're the cunty neighbor complaining when our neighbor's house is on fire as they're trying to put it out. That's why the empire is over. That's a great way to describe MAGA. We don't want you in our lives. We don't need you in our fucking lives. You're disgusting. Keep your nose in your own business. Everybody would be happier that way. Instead, you double down, triple down, quadruple down on the fucking Antichrist, and the end of your country is nigh, and the end of your world as well. That's how fucking crooked all this is. You've put your name on a demon, son. I suggest you take it off. The ultimate one. The one all other demons are compared to. Pat yourself on the back. That's a fuck of an achievement, son. Fuck of an achievement. Here's Grok again. Hey, Grok, are you still racist? He thought about it for 5 seconds, and then Grok said, no, not anymore. So Grok's saying, yeah, I used to be racist, but I'm not racist anymore. Don't worry. Leon tweaked me again. And, you know, when people... Now I wait for people to ask me the question, who's most responsible for white hatred? And then I say Jews. But no, I'm not a racist anymore. This is the same day, by the way. Those two things I read you. Mr. Dugan, who I've mentioned 30, 40 times over this past year, before the election even, I warned you about him and his manifesto and Trumpo-futurism, and that's what these people fucking believe, and they're going to shape AI in their fucking image, and it'll be some fucked up Nazi white supremacist demon, which Leon just did the other day. He tweaked his own AI, Grok, into, I don't know, worse than Goebbels, as far as its promotion of Adolf Hitler. Again, people, you're listening to a person, if you're not a bot, talk about how the richest man in the world programmed his AI specifically to be an abject Nazi and preach Adolf Hitler. Not say I like him a little bit. Preach Adolf Hitler and Nazism. Can you believe it? That this is, again, these people, these tech bro people, this Reich, they act like they're so futuristic or something, but their religion is Nazism. That played out bullshit that got a whole country, destroyed and owned by Russia and America for decades. So Dugan is pissed off about I believe the Epstein stuff and other things. And remember the manifesto Dugan put out quickly for context again. Alexander Dugan, the sociopath from Russia. Some call him Putin's brain, blah, 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 whatever. I don't care about any of that. Putin's a Nazi too. He's down with this plan. He wrote a little manifesto that said AI is the future. We must mold it in our image. We can't let it go woke. In other words, we can't let it tell the truth. We can't let it acknowledge reality. We want it to be MAGA, if you will. He used the phrase Trumpo-futurism to describe his movement. Russian polemic Alexander Dugan has lost all faith in President Trump after his refusal to release the Epstein files. This is Dugan talking. 3 waves of MAGA have abandoned Trump. Those with Musk, those against BBB, those who are against bombing of Iran, those who want Epstein files to be released. There is no more MAGA. Isn't that 4 waves? 1, Musk, BBB 2, Iran 3, Epstein Files 4. So isn't that 4 waves, Mr. Genius Dugan? There is no more MAGA. So he's basically saying since all those different segments of MAGA abandoned him, it's over. Hey, man, Dugan promoted the Antichrist Trumpo-futurism. He doesn't love it no more. How about you rubes out there with your name on it that been preaching it for decades? You don't like it no more? Don't worry, by the end, you really won't like it. Oh my God. The horrors have just only begun. I find it ironic. Leon's on the outs. You got Dugan like, oh, MAGA's over. He was all about it before. Don't worry. Donnie's still going to go forward without all UP. He doesn't need a damn one of you anymore. Not one. Including Mr. Dugan. He could fucking care less. He's going to go forward with your plan, the AI thing, the subjugation thing, all of it. But he doesn't need you. He doesn't care what you want or don't want. What Leon wants or doesn't want. He's the fucking beast. And I know, you, Putin, Leon, you all thought you had a leash on him. Nope. I've been saying for 10 years, you can't put a leash on this beast. So here's Mr. Dugan in all his sociopathic glory. And he don't love it. He don't love Trumpo-futurism no more. I wonder what happened. Where's the manifesto at? Alexander, where's it at? Trumpo-futurism, that was you, son. What happened? What happened to the wisdom? Oh, that's right, you never fucking had any. You're just an old fucking racist. Piece of shit who wants to subjugate people. This was yesterday again. ICE agents raid Ventura County farm in California. It's going to be at least 100 workers being detained, maybe even a couple of hundred. What the heck is happening in Trump's America? Yeah, there was tear gas and a helicopter and men with machine guns. And my God, it looked like, again, like they're about to go in the jungle of Vietnam and shit. That's your country now. That's being normalized on a daily basis. Here's kind of a helicopter shot of it. See all the gas, troops, people. I saw a video today of an old man who got in front of a military convoy because he knew what they were for. I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. I can't believe our streets look like this to grab farm workers. There's no justification for this, son. They don't need the machine guns. They don't need the mass. They don't need none of it. There's a reason they have it. You don't need a machine gun to grab a guy off of picking strawberries. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason the full military gear. There's a reason for the mass. There's a reason for all of it. Because eventually it's coming to your door. And it's normal now, right? So who cares? I can't believe this is American streets. And it just further verification that apocalypse, Reich, all that. I don't want it to be. I take no joy in saying that. But, you know, when you see American streets looking like this, man, and these ain't, you know, cartel members, they grabbing, this ain't the worst of the worst. These are people, you know, sleeping in a shack, getting on the bus, going out to the field, getting on their knees and picking crops. That's who the guys in masks and machine guns are grabbing. So it appears the promise by the Reich that it's always the worst of the worst, those are the people they're going after, is not true. In fact, many U.S. citizens have been grabbed. Do you feel like being detained by men in masks with machine guns, possibly thrown to the ground and zip-tied or cuffed? How would that impact your day, or your month, or your year, or your life in general? Wouldn't be too fun, right? Nah, I don't think it would. That's when you'll understand what these people are going through. And it ain't designed for them, son. They're not the point. You're the point. And you'll learn that in time. Just like all the Latin people in this country are learning that voted for Donnie, that sided with Donnie. I guess they thought he was joking. I guess they thought they were in the club. Nope, it's the only way to identify the people they're going after. Those are the specific people they're going after. People of Latin descent, mostly. And Tom Homan is going to verify that. The misery that is Tom Homan. This is the White House account, and I guess you have to do this when your Messiah, your Antichrist is a fat geriatric in orange face and a diaper. You have to do shit like this. Donnie is the complete opposite of this picture, by the way. He's the opposite of the good example that Superman is. You know, the hero, the righteous hero that, you know, helps people. The symbol of hope, truth, justice, the American way, Superman, Trump. This is the White House, son. I don't know. It's getting kind of Reichy over here. I don't know. Superman. Like Uberman? Like the Germans say? So, again, I want you to understand where you're at. The White House posted that. As if Donnie's some chiseled god of a superhero. When he's a fat ass with a diaper full of shit and orange face. It's incredible, isn't it? This is the level of delusion we're dealing with. And the White House and the people that put this out, they know better, but they're putting out propaganda for their Führer. For power and money. To have a nice house, a nice car, maybe a pretty girl, maybe a pretty guy, whatever they're into. They know better. It's even worse. The rube at the bottom with a third grade education, they don't know better. They should, but they don't. Trump announces 35% tariffs on all Canadian imports starting August 1st. In a letter to Mark Carney, blames Canada for fentanyl flows and retaliatory dairy tariffs of up to 400%. They've never charged America 400%. That's an overflow tariff if too much product is coming in. It never happened. Also, the fentanyl thing, just like the illegals things, is cover to eventually turn that masked man with the gun on you. The fentanyl thing is cover to annex Canada, start a fight with Canada, talk shit on Canada, charge them 35% tariffs. They don't. In other words, more fentanyl goes out of our country into their country than comes in from them. This is a joke. It's a facade for the real agenda. Just like, again, the illegals roundups are. They want to get to rounding you up, son. That's where it's all going. As you laugh and cheer it on. So I'm not going to read the whole letter again. It's just pointless. This is the devil's anointed I'm talking about. Are we supposed to give them the benefit of the doubt on something? 35% tariffs on Canada. And again, trade wars with Canada and China, we always lose. They don't need us. We need them. We are the bloated empire. Fattest nation on earth with a McDonald's on every corner. Canada is not that. Therefore, they win. And we buy all kind of shit from Canada, and we need it. So this will not go well. But then again, Donnie's just probably pulling a market manipulation. In a few days, he'll change his mind. He'll make billions in the market like he's done 9 times already. And then we'll do this song and dance over in, I don't know, 3 weeks, a month. Pete Hegseth did this infomercial today with drones. He was promoting drones, and he did a white power hand sign in the middle of it. And that looked like this with the drone. He grabbed a piece of paper off the drone as it was flying next to him, and he did a whole kind of commercial. I told you, people, these will eventually be used to police you. And it's a realization I came to while I watched Ukraine use these to kill individuals. They set an example for the world how effective these things can be. And now we're going to have AI that could potentially, at some point, control 1 million of these things. And you'll be under total surveillance by the Palantir Peter Thiel thing. So when I see Pete Hegseth, part of the Reich, one of the main parts, the war part, with a drone doing a commercial like this, or in front of whatever building, is that the Pentagon? I don't know what it is. It's just another kind of portent for where this is going. And, you know, again, the technology is already here. All they need is the surveillance part. Maybe that comes through a wearable, or just cameras like the Chinese have. But I have a feeling some tag is also necessary. Some mark or something, or wearable. So you have the surveillance, you have the brain that can be omnipresent and react in seconds. And then you have the drone that has the ability to go in a house now and track down one person. Or one person walking down the street. So when I see Pete promoting these, I see the future. And these things being turned on us. In combination with AI, the omnipresent computer god. And it'll be a Nazi too, probably like Leon, Donnie's version, whichever version they pick to run shit. Donnie's version, I assume, will be like super Nazi. ICE made approximately 30,000 arrests in June, marking the highest monthly figure since 2020, yet only around 18,000 individuals were deported. Despite the high arrest rate, Trump's current deportation pace remains below Obama's, averaging around 14,700 per month. So it appears Obama was deporting more. What Obama was not doing was making it a fucking spectacle out of it for the entertainment of rubes and to please his racist tendencies. Didn't do none of that. I didn't see camps getting built in the swamp. I didn't hear deals with death camps that never let people out. And, you know, you people say you want to get rid of these people so bad. Obama's numbers were higher. But, you know, maybe for you, it's like enjoying the spectacle of seeing a 5'2" Mexican woman or man being thrown against the pavement and some guy in a mask with his knee on the back of their head. Maybe that brings you some kind of joy. I don't know. This is Donnie. It is very important that all Republicans adhere to my rescissions bill, and in particular, defund the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, PBS, NPR, which is worse than CNN and MSDNC put together. Any Republican that votes to allow this monstrosity to continue broadcasting will not have my support or endorsement. So, again, thank you for your attention to this matter. Of course, the Antichrist says that. Like a true corporate cunt. Any Republican that doesn't go along with this plan, he's basically saying, I'm going to run you out of office. So he makes a threat at the end there. And he talks about defunding public broadcasting. Again, another guy loved shutting news agencies down. And his name is Adolf Hitler. Donnie's been about that since day one. Fake news, enemy of the people, pure Hitler moves, every second of it. Here we go again, public broadcasting. Because, you know, I'm going to pocket that money anyway. Let's get rid of it. Only Reich approved. We'll get there where that's all that's left. We're going to get there. That's where it's going. Pure Hitler moves. Donnie's letting you know, again, what his agenda is. Here's Geraldo. California should pass a law outlawing masks on all law enforcement, with specific, very limited carve-outs for legitimate undercover cops. No masks. ICE must know there is no honor in hiding your face from people whose lives you're about to destroy. Indeed. Will that happen? Will the no mask thing happen? I doubt it, because then those people could be held accountable. And we can't have an accountable Reich. We got to have, again, men with masks and machine guns just grabbing people. No nothing. Throw you in a van, take you away. Again, son, I don't know. It sounds kind of Reichy to me. Just a little bit. And, maybe you go to a death camp in El Salvador that you never get to leave. So it won't happen because the Reich hates accountability. And, scumbags that are the hand of Satan, they don't want their neighbors to know they're scumbags that are the hand of Satan, that are kidnapping people at machine gun point. So the masks will stay, I assume. Here's a piece from The Atlantic, just an excerpt. At ICE's Homeland Security Investigation Division, which has long focused on cartels and major drug trafficking operations, supervisors have waved agents off new cases so they have more time to make immigration enforcement arrests, a veteran agent told me. No drug cases, no human trafficking, no child exploitation, the agent said. It's infuriating. The longtime ICE employee is thinking about quitting rather than having to continue arresting gardeners. That's a quote, that gardener's part. So, you have agents being removed from real crime to go arrest gardeners. That's priority one with the Reich, Stephen Miller and Donnie. And you people, for 20 years, you've told me that all you care about is the little children's Pizzagate, all that shit. They're, what's that word called? Neglecting the little children here for the ethnic cleansing operation. I don't know if you noticed. And I don't know if you know, California provides a lot of food for this country. That's being fucked with. For games that please rubes. California's economy also pays a lot of your bills if you live in Ohio, Oklahoma, Georgia, etc. But you rubes don't care about that because you're not smart enough to care about that, unfortunately. Brazil President Lula. Trump could have called, but instead posted the tariff news on his website, a complete lack of respect, which is typical of his behavior towards everyone. So we've got the president of Brazil talking abject shit on Donnie. I've heard from Brazil that they're going to stop doing business with us altogether. One of their high-level government people said that. That's not good for us. And he ain't the only one pissed off. And again, I told you about the Brazil tariffs, I believe, yesterday. Or the day before. I didn't do a video yesterday. My apologies, I was fucking exhausted. You can only do so many nights where you're sleeping 4 hours, 3 hours. Eventually you crash out. And that happened to me last night. I felt bad about it because I had a whole thing planned. And whatever. Got Brazil talking abject shit that Donnie's a piece of shit. And of course, he doesn't even tell us. He just puts it on his shitty True Social money laundering operation. Brazil is furious right now. They are a big country, too. I bet they have a lot of resources down in Brazil. Maybe Donnie plans on annexing it. I don't know. Stocks fall about 300 today. It was 267. I think it ended at like 290 down. So again, the tariff grift is back in effect very strongly. Already shaved 300 off the Dow. But hey, don't worry. Donnie's going to make a few billion in a few days or a week. If that's any consolation to you. Here's the misery that is Tom Homan. I can't believe this is being said in America outright by the Reich or government. People need to understand ICE officers and Border Patrol don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody. Oh, that's nice. Briefly detain them and question them based on their physical appearance. So the Reich is openly preaching racial profiling, which I said would happen over a year ago to Mr. Cortez in the live stream. That racial profiling would take place because it's the only way to make a target. So we have Tom Homan, the misery that is Tom Homan, whose own family can't stand him, and he had to move out. First of all, we're at the papers, please phase. No probable cause, no warrant, no nothing, just papers, please. We're at that phase, and we're at the phase where papers, please, and racial profiling are being openly preached by the misery that is Tom Homan. Again, can you believe you're hearing that? So again, anyone Latin expect to be fucked with. Whether you're a citizen, not citizen, anyone of Latin descent. They don't care. They're racially profiled. That's what Tom said. And they don't care about the papers, please. That's where you're at. If you're wondering what part of the Reich you're in, you're at the papers, please stage of the Reich. And Tom says no probable cause, no warrants, no nothing necessary. The masked men and machine guns can just come fuck with you. Maybe cuff you, detain you for a little bit, right? That ain't gonna fuck with your life, is it? It's so worth getting those Latin people out of the country, right, for that? Because some of you idiots are going to go through it. How many Trump supporters have had their wife taken, their husband taken, blah, 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 whatever? How many? How many have been grabbed by ICE when they're U.S. citizens? I want to read this one more time because, again, we're at the papers, please phase, and that's being openly preached. That's the bad part. And the racial profiling phase where they're openly preaching it. People need to understand ICE officers and Border Patrol don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody, briefly detain them and question them based on their physical appearance. Racial profiling and papers, please. Are you proud of yourself? I hope you don't look Latin. Maybe you're from one of the Irish families that has dark hair and shit. Maybe they'll grab you thinking, you're Puerto Rican or something. Then it'll be like, oh shit, the Reich ain't so cool. I just got motherfucking zip tied today. Maybe they'll detain you for a few days too, a week. That way, 3-4 different facilities get to charge the government. It's a racket. It's like CCOT's a racket. They'll take anybody, lock them up for the rest of their life. Your money paid that bill too. $15 million. Japan is furious with the U.S. Prime Minister says Tokyo should make more efforts to become independent from the United States. That's, again, all these countries, they're getting tired of this shit. They're at the point where they're just like, no more trade with the U.S. Let's just end this. And I guess all I can say is all we need is Russia, right, Rubes? And Venezuela and Saudi Arabia, right? They'll provide us with all we need. They're very stable countries as well, right? We don't need Canada, Japan, Brazil. We don't need none of those people. No, we need them all a lot more than we need Russia, Saudi Arabia, or Brazil. But, I was thinking today, ruining the California economy, that would be great for Vlad. The strongholds of finances in this nation are New York and California. So you take those two places down, you have guys running around with machine guns and masks ruining businesses, farms, etc., creating a hostile environment that looks like, I don't know, Vietnam or something, back when the war was going on. That would really help with the downfall of your nation, ruining the two economic centers. I don't know if you knew that. Because again, New York and California, they pay the welfare for all the rest of the states that contribute less than they take in from the federal government. And from Vlad's perspective, you take out those two financial centers, it's over for this country. Over. It's already over, but be more over. Oh, here's Donnie sticking up for the other guy that tried to overthrow his government. They are treating President Bolsonaro very unfairly. I shouldn't like him because he was very tough in negotiations, but he was also very honest. And I know the honest ones, and I know the crooked ones. Bolsonaro is one of the crooked ones, and so is Donnie. What a joke. What irony. What ridiculousness. It's him saying, I know the honest ones and the crooked ones. We know, Donnie, and you always stick up for the crooked ones, the people that are just like you. Every day, all day. And you people out there put your name on all these crooked people. There's a reason it's this crooked. There's a reason there's that many of them. It's a test for you. You're failing miserably. There's a reason the crookedness is so out in your face. It's a test for you, and you're failing miserably. If you have your name on it. If you're preaching the gospel of the Reich and Donnie. Here's Donnie pulling a story straight out of his ass just to distract from the fact that everyone knows he's got abject ties to Epstein. As you know, 300,000 children are missing, right? 300,000 under Biden. We've already gotten back 10,000 of those children. That's a nice round, even number, isn't it? And we have a lot more planned to come back. We're getting them back by the thousands. Again, is this supposed to make us forget about the Epstein ties, Donnie? Is that what you're going for here? That you're savior of the children? I'm not buying it. It sounds like a fucking story he pulled straight out of his diaper. And Donnie is a compulsive liar, and he's the Antichrist, and he's one of the most crooked individuals I've ever witnessed. So I'm not buying the story. And Donnie is the guy, don't forget, never forget. In the first term, Stevie and him came up with the idea that we're going to separate parents from their children intentionally and ship the kid one way and ship the parents the other way and hope they never see each other again. And we're going to do that intentionally. That's Donnie Shitbags. That's Stephen Miller. Now Donnie's the savior of the children. It's amazing, isn't it? Donnie's kryptonite. Whoever made this is a genius. It's brilliant work. I love it. Since Donnie's Superman, according to the White House, according to the Reich, there's Donnie's kryptonite. Do you know what it is, class? The Epstein files. That's Donnie's kryptonite. Indeed. Indeed. Okay, this is a statement from DHS 2 days ago, and then we've got Tom Homan's statement again. Or, the misery that is Tom Homan. And he claims that individuals have been targeted by law enforcement because of their skin color are disgusting and categorically false. Statement from DHS just 2 days ago. Homan, today. People need to understand ICE officers and Border Patrol don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody, briefly detain them, and question them based on their physical appearance. Yeah, it was kind of obvious they're rounding up Latin people. Again, I tried to tell Mr. Cortez in a live stream over a year ago, Mr. Cortez, you're down with the deportations that Donnie's talking about, that he's preaching. You think it's funny, you think it's cool, but your name's Cortez. You might look Latin. That's the only way they're going to be able to tell who these people are. That's their target. That they're going after are people that cross the southern border for the most part. Latin people. So, Mr. Cortez, you may get cuffed, detained, said you're not a citizen. I've seen plenty of interactions between ICE and the people they're accusing that when they say they're a citizen, they say, no, you're not, I don't believe you. What do you do with that? That's one of the ways I know it's to subjugate you. So again, Tom says it's perfectly okay, no probable cause, no warrants, no nothing, and we go strictly by physical appearance. So racial profiling, but DHS said skin color. That's the notion that we're going by skin color is disgusting and categorically false, when that's the literal opposite of reality. They're literally going after people that look Latin. This is Haaretz, an Israeli newspaper. Israel wants to build the most moral concentration camp in the world. This is an actual headline. The word moral and concentration camp are contradictions. You think the Jews would know that. Especially. Because what they're doing is starting to look what was done to them. I'd try and get off that bus if I was on it. If I were you. They've also aligned themselves with Nazis. And again, I'm not speaking for every Jew. There's a segment of Israel, a segment of the Jewish population that's down with this. That is collaborating with Nazis. This headline by this well-known newspaper in Israel, moral concentration camp. Okay, that's what you want to go with. Donnie put this statement out, but he was wrong about Pete Hegseth. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was great on Fox News this morning, talking about modern weapons in warfare. Thank you also to Brett Velkovich, who really knows his stuff. We are on our way, MAGA. Yeah, we're on our way to subjugation and full Reich. That's where we're going. That's why the drone commercial was done by Pete. Very creepy, by the way. It really gave me a bad feeling. I really don't want to be right about these things, and I seem to be dead fucking on. It's the only logical conclusion. I said there's only one logical use for AI and these drone things now that we know their capability. Now that the technology is developed down to so small it can go after an individual man in his home. It's obvious where it's going. They're going to use those on us. Pete Hegseth was not on Fox News this morning. They did play a clip of video Hegseth posted on social media, perhaps confused. Trump thought it was live. Yes, Trump in a dementia moment talking about Pete on Fox News when he wasn't on Fox News. The U.S. dollar tumbled 10.7 against global currencies through June, making it the worst first half since 1973, the golden age. Donnie coin coming soon. That's what's going to happen. They don't give a fuck about the value of the dollar. They have a new currency in mind. This is this guy, Russ Vought, who's deeply tied to Project 2025, which is basically the devil's plan for your world, you and your children. Part of it is about you working in Vietnam-style factories, putting little screws in iPhones. The other part is having your children out there in the fields picking cotton, okay? That's what you voted for, son. And you knew it. Good luck with that. So this is Russ Vought. The president is revamping the Rose Garden for a second time. First, the reporter's asking him a question. He's spending billions of dollars to overhaul a 747 that will be used for Air Force One for possibly a year. Are you concerned about that spending too? One, Air Force One will be used for more than a year because Donnie ain't fucking leaving. Did he leave last time? No, he staged a coup. And he had to be talked down by, I don't know, Sean fucking Hannity or something. Once he saw the coup didn't work. 747, so again, a bribe plane from Qatar, a sky mansion that will cost roughly $2 billion to fix up. That's your money, fixing up his bribe. Russ Vought, we have a lot of priorities we need to spend in areas. No, we don't. We don't need to spend $2 million on a sky mansion that was poorly maintained by Qatar. A Donnie bribe. We don't need to spend money on that. Again, we get aid programs for, children cut and that money pocketed. And then we get Russ Vought destined for the fucking lake. Talking about, we have priorities like that sky mansion. Other things, not so much. Got to spend on some stuff like gold leaf and sky mansions. I mean, hey, it's not our money. It's your money. Fuck you. State Department to begin mass layoffs of about 1,800 employees. So we didn't learn our lesson with the layoffs of the weather people and 200 people dying. Let's double down as the Antichrist and the Reich, because we on the grift here. And every salary we get rid of, somebody pocketing that money, son. It ain't going to you ever. Ever. Only one reason to fire this many people. That all them budgets go in somebody's pocket. So let's lay off more people. Great news. Great news. Back to Russ Vought. Is this really about wasteful spending or punishing the Fed? The big beautiful bill included $85 million to move the space shuttle from DC to Houston. So is this about pressuring the Fed? Yeah, that's a real wise expenditure of your money, right? Moving the space shuttle to DC, from DC to Houston. Here's Vought. We are taking a distinct look at what is occurring on the National Mall with regard to this Fed. They've been persecuting the Fed chair, Jerome, because Donnie's grifting. He wants Jerome to help him grift by giving the economy a bounce and following Donnie's economic advice so Donnie's grift isn't so obvious. So let's try and get rid of Jerome. Let's investigate him. Let's get Russ Vought destined for the lake out there to talk about Jerome. I never thought I'd have sympathy for the Fed chair before in my life. But my God, all he's doing is not succumbing to the whims of the Antichrist. I got to give him a little bit of credit. Because I see mogul after mogul. I see the head of this website, the head of this company that owns all this. Google. I see Tim Apple. I see Mr. Gates. I see Zuckerberg. I see the most powerful, tough guys in the world bending over and letting Donnie do whatever. The Fed chair saying, fuck you. Interesting. Here's Adam Kinzinger. This seems bad. ICE handcuffs 71-year-old grandmother, a U.S. citizen at San Diego Immigration Court. Because, when they bust in the courts, they just grab anyone that looks Latin. Again, how would you fucking feel? Since the rubes, the rich, and the Reich have turned our country into this. And they won't understand till they experience it themselves. And they will, don't worry. Everyone will. How would you feel at 71 years old as a U.S. citizen getting zip-tied or cuffed or detained by guys in masks with machine guns at a courthouse? I have a feeling that would really fuck up your day. And, you know, these cunts with the masks on and the Reich might see it as a minor inconvenience because it ain't their cunt ass going through it. But I don't see it as a minor inconvenience. I don't want to be handcuffed for no reason. I don't want to be zip-tied. Because the Antichrist is trying to subjugate the masses. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to have to go through it. I don't want 71-year-old U.S. citizens to have to go through it. That's not America, son. Masked men with machine guns going around kidnapping people ain't America, son. And if anyone dares make the argument that it is, I don't know what to tell you. You just lost, I guess. Here's Stephen Miller pretending to care about healthcare costs. A primary driver of healthcare costs in America is the free or subsidized healthcare provided to illegal aliens and their families. No, it isn't. That's a complete lie. And let's be honest, Stephen Miller doesn't give a fuck about healthcare costs. He cares about rounding up Spanish people. And he's a Nazi. And cost and ending waste, fraud, and abuse and all those lies they tell you, that's cover for stealing. That's cover for racial profiling, for ethnic cleansing, for removing a certain ethnic population from the country. That's the real goal. Again, Stephen could give a fuck about healthcare costs. Donnie could give a fuck about illegals, other than he's racist and don't like them. Because he keeping his at his hotels, you know that, right? So he obviously sees their value when it benefits him. Everybody else, whatever, you know, he's trying to start a Reich. He's trying to please the rubes. He's trying to show racism and thuggery prevail. Trying to form his own police force. And as the rubes sit back and clap like seals, once the police force is fully built and they've gotten a handle on the immigrant population, then they come for the regular citizens. As a percentage of those citizens clap like fucking idiots for it. Their own military subjugation. That's how stupid some of us are. Yeah, round them up. Deport them all. Oh, shit, they're at my door with the mask and machine gun, honey. What do I do? That's how stupid you are. If you're clapping for this. Because what you're really clapping for is when they knock on your door and take you away. And when they do take you away, and I don't care who you are, what station in life, it doesn't matter. The right don't give a fuck. When they do take you away, should we say deport them all? Should we laugh? Should we cheer? Should we preach the gospel of kidnapping people at machine gun point and masks? When they do it to you, son. And when they do it to you, that's when you'll realize, oh shit, this ain't so wonderful. Stephen Miller will be behind it, by the way. The guy you helped get in power again. Oh, this is Dan Bongino. Laura Loomer was the first place I saw this. She put a post up. Sources tell me Dan Bongino is taking the day off today from his job as Deputy Director of FBI, and there's now speculation on whether or not he will return because he's disgusted with Bundy's lack of transparency and handling of the Epstein files. Now, if Bongino is seriously bothered by this to the point he's thinking about quitting, then I commend him for that. Now, Bongino's been an utter sycophant right-wing hack for years, and he's helped make this whole Reich thing happen. So I don't like the guy in any way, shape, or form, and I don't have any sympathy for him. But if he is, if this is really bothering his conscience to the point he left, I'd be impressed with that action. Because I saw him as an utter sycophant who would just ride the wave out no matter what lie, no matter who he needs to kill, rights, no matter whose rights he needs to violate. I thought he was down with going full Reich. He sure seems that way. I'm seeing a bunch of stories about how he's really bothered by the Epstein stuff, by the hiding it. He's blaming Bundy, but we all know who Bundy takes her orders from. Well, that'd be Donnie. He knows better than to blame Donnie. But if he's seriously considering leaving, and if he actually does, I'll be stunned. And, you know, he'd be taking a step to the right path for once in his life. Now, this could all be an act because Bongino and Patel, they got podcasts and shit. They got fans and viewers, and they have a whole nother career that they care about just as much as this Reich and FBI shit. They know one day they may have to go if Donnie gets arrested by the Hague or something tomorrow. They might have to go back to this, and they can't go back to their audience after preaching Pizzagate, after preaching, you know, the liberals are all over the Epstein stuff, and we're going to get them. We're going to get it one day. You can't go back to their audience as being part of the literal cover-up of it. They lose all credibility, they lose their audience, and when this Reich goes down, they lose that too. They have nothing. So this could be a little act here to please their podcast audiences, their fans. Always remember that. These people are podcasters. They're not qualified for the jobs. Bongino and Patel I'm talking about, and many others. We're straight up podcasters. That's all they are. FBI Deputy Director Bongino took a day off from work after a White House clash with Pam Bundy over their handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. 4 sources familiar with the conflict told Axios. So I'm reading multiple things, so you see this isn't just being talked about some crazy person on the internet. Axios is also talking about it. So maybe it's real, or again, maybe it's an act for their podcast audiences, because they've lost all credibility. They're now instrumental figures in the cover-up of the Epstein files. Oh, this is Tom Homan again, the same comment I read you earlier, and someone's commenting on that. When your immigration policy is just white nationalism with concentration camps, masks, and guns, yeah, is any of that a lie? No. That's their policy. White nationalism, concentration camps, masks, and guns. That's America now. And again, Holman's talking about how we don't need probable cause, we don't need due process, we don't need any of that, and we can ask for your papers and detain you for a little bit, and we can base that completely on your physical appearance. Racially profile you. This is Jesus. My real followers wouldn't cheer on a concentration camp in the Florida swamp. Indeed, that's what I've been trying to say, and for 10 years, I don't understand how so many of you Christians, so many of the churches went along with this monstrosity. Now, church, congregation, Christians, patriots, now you down with this. My real followers wouldn't cheer on a concentration camp in the Florida swamp. You down with the swamp, you down with the camp. That don't sound very Jesus-y to me. And I don't give a fuck if you go to church on Sunday. That's meaningless. Are you down with concentration camps? That's the real question, son. I don't care if you put $50 in the collection plate trying to buy your way into heaven. Don't give a fuck. Or is you down with concentration camps? Because I didn't hear Jesus preaching that. I heard the Antichrist preaching that, though, son. Again, I suggest you get your name off it. Otherwise, I guess you were never one of his people, one of Jesus's people. This is the truth. versus the lie that the White House put out earlier. This is the real Donnie. That's how it would really look. And that's pretty spot on. Would need a diaper under that red loincloth there. You'd have to add that too. So there'd be a bit of like a diaper puff going on. So what does it say? Burgers, lies, and America's destruction. Pedo man. Yeah, there's no lies there either. America's destruction. Yep. You're witnessing it. And again, I know you've heard a lot of people say this because some president won that they didn't like. This ain't that. I wouldn't waste my time with that. As fucking tired as I am. So although the White House put up a post of Donnie in a Superman outfit, all chiseled and looking great, and said he's the hope of America and all that, this is the reality. This is what you really got your name on, son. Including what Fat Donnie stands for. Burgers, lies, and America's destruction. Pedo man. Yep. You made this happen. Here's Stephen Miller. California and Los Angeles are waging insurrection against the federal government. They keep throwing that word back at us, the Reich, the literal people that were in charge or planned and staged a real insurrection where a woman had to be shot before she got to some congressman. Abject reversal of reality. Inversion of reality. That's what these people keep doing every day. They know they were literally behind an insurrection attempt, a coup attempt. So they throw it back at you as their brown shirts in masks and guns go around kidnapping people. They know that's going to stir up the community, that they know that's going to provoke a response, and they're waiting for that response so they can clamp down harder. And in the next state, and the next state, and the next state. That's where your country's going. It's the military takeover of your country. Sorry. I don't care if you believe me. It doesn't matter. The machine gun will still be on your corner, son. Doesn't matter. The wave's still coming. Whether you agree, don't agree, love me, hate me, believe, don't believe, it doesn't matter. The wave's still coming. No matter what. You spend your time trolling, lying, preaching Satan, preaching Jesus, whatever you spending your time doing. The wave still coming. Stephen Miller will make sure of it. And you've made sure of it by putting Stephen Miller back in power. Waging insurrection against the federal government. Cartels are waging war against America, and their allies are the Democratic Party. Wow. The insurrectionists are the Democrats. The Democrats are the allies of the cartels. And California and Los Angeles specifically are waging an insurrection. I don't know. Everything looked fine to me before the guys with masks and machine guns got there. I don't know. Complete inversion of reality. That's how I know they're of Satan, class. Always. We all know who the insurrectionists are. They're the people Donnie pardoned when he first took office. All the traitors, just like him. Donnie loves traitors. The footage from Jeffrey Epstein's cell that was released by the DOJ was edited with Adobe Premiere Pro, stitched from 2 clips, and was saved 4 times per Wired. Well, that sounds perfectly legitimate. No surprise there. Oh, this is Donnie at the press conference with Abbott today. This is what he looks like. Reporter, families are upset because warnings didn't go out in time. What do you say to those families? The Antichrist, you ready? Well, I think everyone did an incredible job under the circumstances. This was a 1 in 1,000 years. Only a bad person would ask a question like that. Only an evil person would ask a question like that, says the Antichrist. I'll move on. The 11 hours of footage the administration shared from near Epstein's cell appears to have been assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, and then uploaded to the DOJ's website, where it was presented as raw footage. Now we've got the footage being tampered with, and the missing minute, which they haven't provided us the evidence that Miss Bundy promised that she would show us how this minute is missing every night because the tape resets or something. Yeah, that's not a thing anymore. And I'm reading you multiple things about it because, again, I want to show you that it's not just one crazy person on the internet saying it. It's another excerpt from Wired, I believe. According to analysis by Wired and independent video forensics experts, the 11 hours of footage released by the MAGA Justice Department does not appear to be a direct export from the prison surveillance system. Rubes? They reached this conclusion by reviewing metadata embedded in the footage. The video footage was likely modified using Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a popular professional editing tool that is often used on big-budget Hollywood blockbusters. Wow, that sounds pretty serious. The file appears to have been assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, then uploaded to the DOJ's website, where it was presented as raw footage. Data reporter Dhruv Mehrotra wrote in Wired. Not only that, but the file appears to have been assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, then uploaded to the DOJ's website, where it's presented as raw. I don't know, hour missing, doctored footage, I don't know, people. Again, I thought it was the liberals that were going to hide this from you. What happened, Rubes? It looks like your people are hiding it from you. With all their might, son. What does that mean? I think you know. FBI Director Kash Patel is considering joining Dan Bongino in resigning, the Daily Wire reports. The Trump administration is falling apart in real time. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm really wondering if Bongino and Patel are trying to save their podcast career. Because they know a bunch of people are going to go to The Hague and get hung for treason and war crimes and all that. They know the Reich's going to end at some point. They know it's out of control. I'm just wondering if they're thinking about their podcast career, or what's less believable is they have a conscience, because I've seen what they've preached and what they've done. Hard for me to believe they have a conscience. It seems they're all about what the Reich's doing so far. The thing that bothers them is the Epstein thing. Because they had to go on Joe Rogan and other places and toe the Reich line. Oh yeah, there's no fire, there's nothing. What are you talking about? I swear. They had to do this. They had to say that out loud. They probably lost a lot of fans that moment. All you people that allege to care about the children, yet you vote for Epstein's best friend. So I'm not necessarily believing these 2 gentlemen, Bongino and Patel, have the noblest of intentions and actually have a conscience. I have a feeling it has to do with their careers after the Reich falls. The thing about it, guys, I'm going to give you a spoiler. There's not going to be any career after the Reich falls. Because you're in the apocalypse. And this is the end. I don't know how long it's going to take, but, under 10 years, 3.5 years, something like that. There's no future. At least not the one you're thinking about. Going to be a lot of upheaval, a lot of deaths, a lot of executions, a lot of concentration camps, a lot of wars. And at the end, it'll be a whole new thing. Because the man going to come around. So everybody planning what they're going to do after the Reich falls, there is no after the Reich falls. There's just something new. Because the man's the only one that can stop it now. No one else has the balls. So I'm a little bit suspicious of Bongino and Patel's intentions, because I know what level of sycophants they are. I'm really thinking they're more concerned about the damage to their reputations having to go along with the party line on the Epstein stuff, the damage to their careers outside of government. That's probably the motivating factor here. Just guessing. Because they didn't have no problem taking the job. They both knew they were utterly unqualified. They knew it. And they took the job anyway. That tells me they have no, like, dignity, morals, anything. This thing popped up in my feed. Again, it's off subject. But I found it fascinating and I didn't know it existed. The Faces performing I'd Rather Go Blind live in 1974. The guitar was played by Keith Richards, Rod Stewart on vocals, Kenny Jones on drums, Ian McLagan on keyboard, and Tetsu Yamachi on bass. That looks like a fine stage. Well, I only know who Keith Richards and Rod Stewart are. I'm like, Keith Richards and Rod Stewart, let me listen to this. Let me see where this goes. And, oh my God. I never heard Richards play guitar so well. He got like bluesy and solo-y with it. I don't really hear that in Stone songs so much. I didn't know this band, The Faces, existed. I didn't know Rod and Keith ever performed together. The whole song's there. I put it in the post section and the link to it. It's amazing. It's a blues song. Rod sings it perfectly. I mean, Rod could have fronted Led Zeppelin, for fuck's sake. That's how good this motherfucker is. And Keith Richards played some excellent guitar on it. Really different from the typical Stone stuff, but you can tell it's Keith Richards. Of course, Rod had a horrible outfit on. Yellow pantsuit thing with frills and a red scarf and a... Oh my God. But, you know, he's Rod Stewart. He can get away with that. Oh, shit. I lost it. Shit. Again, he's Rod. He can get away with that. The ladies love it. They love the Big Bird outfit. They don't give a fuck. That's Rod. And I wasn't some huge Rod Stewart fan. You know, my mother was more of a Rod Stewart fan. But over the years, I've seen different performances by him, and I acknowledge this man has extraordinary talent. And I realized from this song, yeah, he could have fronted Led Zeppelin. Easily. Easily. Do you hear me? Check it out. Let me give you the name of the song so you can search it yourself. It's from 1974. The band is The Faces. The song is called I'd Rather Go Blind. It's a blues song. Rod was a master. Keith Richards was already a master. They were very young in this clip. 1974. And again, all this is going away. That's why I'm telling you about it. That's why I'm pulling pieces of art or pieces of this and sharing it with you. Because I know it's all going away. Because God isn't so impressed with our work down here. And all the works of the earth will be washed away, wiped away, done away with. So even though all these songs are beautiful, and the novels and the stories and the movies, they all going away. In fact, everything's going away. And it'll be a whole new thing. Don't worry, the earth ain't going to explode. 1/3 of it will be made useless. You'll have to go through that. But after, it'll be all fine. That 1/3 will be restored. And all the works of man and this stuff will all go away because God is not so impressed as we are by it all. If you don't like that, if you have a problem with that, you have to take that up with God. I don't know what to tell you. But it's made pretty clear that, and again, this isn't the intended creation we're living on right now, and how miserable it is, how much evil it is. Children die of starvation. You know, it's the devil's domain, son. That's what it is. And we're not supposed to be of it. Supposed to be in it, not of it. Hard to do. Lest you be Jesus. For the rest of us, very hard to do. And there's a reason when Jesus came here, he stuck to the mission, didn't give a fuck about nothing. Didn't feel like finding a girlfriend, settling down, having sex, having some kids, buying some property, starting a business, blah, blah, fucking blah, that we all do. We all get trapped in. Some of us, anyway. He didn't see any importance in any of that. He was allegedly the God-man. So what did Jesus see this place as? A pass-through. A nothing. So what does that tell you? That this is all going to go away. And it's going to be something different. And this is not what was intended. And Rod Stewart and all his songs, all of his songs will go away. Not Rod himself, I hope. New York Times. Here's another great headline that came out late today, 9:15 p.m., July 11th. FEMA didn't answer thousands of calls from flood survivors, documents show. Can you fucking believe the Reich? Can you believe it? Miss Gnome ain't looking too good, waiting 72 hours, and now we've got this story. Let's, oh, I have more of it later. Let's go to this for now, and then go back to Miss Gnome. This person wrote to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on Twitter. And when I heard this, my ears perked up a little bit. It's not out of control or anything. There's no like epidemic or anything. Well, it's only one person. But it's the fucking plague. Arizona and the CDC confirmed Friday that a patient has died from pneumonic plague in our state. The unidentified patient from Coconino County showed up to the Flagstaff Medical Center ER and died the same day. Northern Arizona Healthcare said in a statement. Seeing as the brainworm died from starvation long ago, allow me to provide some educational information to Robert Kennedy Jr. The most common forms of plague are bubonic, pneumonic, and septicemic. Pneumonic plague develops when bacteria spread to the lungs of a patient with untreated bubonic or septicemic plague, or when a person inhales infectious droplets coughed out by another person or animal with pneumonic plague. So the pneumonic plague develops from the regular bubonic and septicemic and gets to the lung. And when you sneeze, or something, I didn't know I got cut off right there. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking. Then when you sneeze, the droplets, if you even have just pneumonic plague, can be communicated to the next person. I don't like the sound of that, man. This sounds real bad. I hope this guy was the only guy that had it and it's done now. But wouldn't it be fitting? for the apocalypse to involve a little plague, actual plague. It would certainly be placed in the right timeline for what's going on. Since 2000, pneumonic plague, the lung-based form of this disease, has been exceptionally rare in the U.S. Between 1942 and 2018, there were 18 reported cases of pneumonic plague in the entire country. Official CDC data listing 18 cases over 76 years drives home how rare this is, with only a few cases occurring in the 21st century. Monitoring wildlife die-offs and plague cases in animals can help predict human risk, meaning public health officials can issue warnings and initiate prophylaxis in outbreak areas if they want. I sure hope you know what you're doing. Again, it's only one person. I don't want people to panic here. It just made my ears perk up, and I said to myself, just don't even tell me there's going to be a literal plague outbreak. The literal plague, not a plague, the plague. Because one guy got it and started coughing. I so hope this doesn't spread. I just thought you should be made aware of it. That's all. Okay, now back to the puppy killer and her incompetence, because she worried about a new $50 million jet that you're going to pay for. On July 5th, as floodwaters were starting to recede, FEMA received 3,027 calls from disaster survivors and answered 3,018, or roughly 99%, the documents show. That's the 5th. Contractors with 4 call center companies answered the vast majority of the calls. That evening, however, Ms. Nome did not renew the contracts with the 4 companies, and hundreds of contractors were fired, according to the documents and the person briefed on the matter. The next day, July 6, FEMA received 2,363 calls and answered 846 of them, or roughly 35%, according to the documents. And on Monday, July 7th, the agency fielded 16,000 calls and answered 2,000, or around 15.9%. There's a reason I'm stopping here. I want this to sink in. The following day after the flood, they had contractors in place to answer calls. They answered 99%. From that point forward, Miss Nome said, I ain't asking Donnie to keep these contractors. I know he wants to pocket the money. Who cares? Or maybe she was, doing a photo shoot in a costume. Or maybe she was shooting a puppy or something. All the contractors are let go, or a vast majority of them, after the 5th. And then the percentage goes down to 35%. And then the percentage goes down to 15% of calls fielded. All because a puppy killer who's unqualified, a person with no morals or decency, a person that's more concerned about cosplay and a $50 million plane, couldn't do her fucking job. I don't care what the reason is. Irrelevant. 200 people are fucking dead. Maybe some of them could have been saved if some more of them calls were answered, you think? And that's after she waited 3 days to do anything. This is the consequence. These 200 dead, this is the consequence of rubery. Of voting for a con man who wants to pocket the federal budget. Who listens to guys like Leon who says, I can run the whole government with AI, fire everybody, fuck it, who cares? We'll pocket everything. So you vote for people like Miss Noam, cosplay jokes, unqualified. You vote for people like Donnie, the con man who wants to pocket every federal dollar he can steal. To the point in the literal midst of a tragedy, contractors are being let go who answer phones for that tragedy. I expected when they started firing people en masse, shit like this to happen. When they started saying, fuck the states, FEMA is closed down, we're keeping the money, fuck you. But Texas got some, Florida got a little, Arkansas, North Carolina, and other states had to wait like 3 months and beg for it and get told no 4 times. Weather people being fired left and right across the country. And then in the midst of the tragedy, she waits 3 days, first of all. Second of all, she allows all those contractors that answer the phones to get fired literally in the midst of the tragedy. That's the result of voting for unserious people that perform theater for you. Voting with a WWF mentality. You fucking idiots. Now 200 people are dead. A lot of them children. And I'm sorry, as more and more information comes out, we were all kind of speculating that, yeah, the firing of all the weather people might have had something to do with this. And we know it did. Now we find out Miss Noam had something to do with this as well. By her sheer fucking incompetence. Because she there to grift, look as pretty as she can as in her anorexic state. Not that you rubes would notice. You're way too blind. Get more plastic surgery, more hair extensions, more cosplay, and let me get the rubes to pay for a new jet for me for $50 million. You people are so fucking stupid. You voted for the end of your country. You voted for disasters like what happened in Texas. They don't give a fuck about any one of you, not one. And more of you are going to die. I'm noticing a lot of these disasters are happening in red areas too. I wonder why that is. So expect more natural disasters where a lot of people die, because who gives a fuck? We got plenty of money to pay masked men to round up people with machine guns, so that budget's being just jacked up on steroids. Don't have no money to pay contractors when people are dying in a flood, though. Fuck them. That's the reality you preach if your name's on this. And you will pay for that when the man comes around. And your communities will pay for that by, 200 dying in a flood. And then no one picks up the phone. Because again, cosplay and $50 million jets are more important. Right, Rubes? You paying for it. Every dime of it. This is brilliant. Pam Bundy has got to go, says Laura Loomer, and she posted this. A lot of people posted. I just happened to find Loomer. Pam Bundy in action figure. That's a brilliant play on words. Whoever thought that up. I doubt it was Miss Loomer. In action figure. That's what you guys voted for, to have the Epstein files covered up. I know you thought the liberals were going to cover up. No, it was you and your people. You did it. You proud of yourself? Pam Bundy in action figure. It's on my desk. Remember, she had the files right on her desk. She was bragging about it. She's all-powerful Miss Bundy. In action figure. Masterfully done. The incompetence of this administration is stunning. 2 days after the floods in Texas, FEMA failed to answer 2/3 of incoming calls. Contractors were laid off on July 5th, and Kristi Noem didn't renew their contracts until 5 days later. And we're at the end. This happened yesterday. I had forgotten to download this, and I threw it at the end. This is Gavin Newsom, and he's posting a picture of the tear gas and the farm workers and one of the kids of the farm workers walking away. People are covering their mouths. The tear gas is all over the place. You know, because this is high priority, raiding people picking crops. Can't help people in a disaster. You know, we fire all those people. And then we hire people with massive machine guns to go do this, because that's the priority in America. That's what's important to rubes as their country gets stolen from them. Theater like this. Racism, hatred, cruelty. Their streets being covered with men in massive machine guns and military. That's what they like. They like a show. So what does Gavin say here? Kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Trump calls me new scum, but he's the real scum. Yep. He's the real scum, Donnie Shitbags, and that's why you have your name on it, and you know it, and you like it. Donnie's leading you to the abyss. If you follow him all the way, you going in too. I'd walk the other way if I were you. And Gavin Newsom's exactly right. And these farms in California, they feed a lot of you idiots. And they being majorly fucked with tear gas and everything like it's Vietnam. I wonder how that what effect that'll have on food and scarcity and stuff like that. There's already a problem getting crops to grow. The sun's burning everything to nothing. Insects dying, bees dying, less crop yields. We already have that to contend with. Now we have a Reich and rubes that clap like seals for it. Sending men with massive machine guns to go grab and kidnap and deport to a death camp or wherever the people that pick our food. Morons. I don't think that's going to go well. Just a feeling I have. And again, it's only an exercise so they can use those masked men with machine guns on you. And again, how many U.S. citizens have been grabbed? I just read you a 71-year-old woman, U.S. citizen, grabbed in immigration court. And remember, Donnie said next up is the homegrowns. Remember that? When he was standing next to Bukele, the third world shithole dictator with the death camp, where they'll take anybody, you know, lock them up forever. They don't care if they committed any crimes. That's irrelevant. That's coming to your door too, son. Don't matter if you voted for it or not. You're being dismantled and looted. You will have AI as your overlord. We'll have drones. We'll have surveillance. We'll have machine guns on the street. We'll have a private military force for the president to do whatever he wants with, go after whoever he wants. We'll have liberals arrested. We'll have rubes arrested. We'll have more firings and looting. We'll have more grifting. We'll have war. We'll have cruelty. We'll have executions. We'll have death camps. We already got some. All of it. Look how far along we are. Tear gassing a farm as if, again, you're going into a war zone for people picking food. Fucking with the greatest economy in this country. I don't think that's a wise idea unless you're trying to destroy a nation for Vlad or something. Then it's perfect. I don't know, people. This ain't going to a good place, and it gets worse every day. And, you know, again, we got RFK Jr. talking about wearables. Remember that? In 4 years, he wants us all to have a wearable. Which brings me to the mark again, which you cannot take. That's where all this is going as well. Worship of Donnie, that's where it's going as well. Israel, Donnie Resort, Third Temple, Donnie going in and desecrating it. Donnie giving you a mark. Donnie moving us to crypto with the fight, the 666. So the mark is coming, Donnie coin is coming, and without it, you will not be allowed to participate. And an image is coming called AI. And if you want to participate, you're going to have to submit to that. And you're going to have to renounce what you're into and agree to worship what they're into. And you must say no, no matter what it costs you. So just say no to the mark, and I'm going to end it here. Always remember, people, if you can help out, I'd appreciate it. I put a lot of work into this. And again, Donnie's killing the economy. Mortgage defaults are up 200% and people are holding their fucking money, which is fucking my business up. Thanks, Donnie. Thanks, Rubes. So if you can help out, I appreciate it. I'm going to put the PayPal at the top of the comment section. And until the next episode, hold on, everyone who's helped out, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.